Hey guys, it's Monica from Pear Treasures, and I'm here today to do the tutorial for this album. There's a separate video. You guys can go watch it if you want to check out the inside and see what else I have to offer. I made a kit from this, and it'll be on my website, and the link will be below, right down there somewhere. Okay, so let's dive right in. So I'm going to keep this here just so I can refer back to it to show you guys where I'm at. Alrighty, so I'm going to need some basic tools, and so are you guys, okay? I want you to get a pencil and a piece of paper, okay? Because I am not going to be doing a written tutorial for this. It is all going to be right here, okay? So get a pencil, get a piece of paper. Alright, I'm going to be telling you as I go along the actual measurements. Okay, so thanks for bearing with me. I have so many projects on the go right now that this is the best way to do it for me. Alright, and I know you guys like to watch first because sometimes I screw up, right? Let's be honest. Okay, I have pre-cut a ton of stuff just so you guys know. This is the time to get your pen and paper out, okay? So I'm going to give you the measurements for the elastic as well, and I'm going to give you things that you're absolutely going to need. So we're going to work on the cover right now, okay? You're going to need your scoreboard or a scoring tool. It doesn't have to be a scoreboard, whatever you use to score with. You're going to need a crocodile or a hole punch. You're going to need an eyelet setter if you don't have the crocodile, okay? You're going to need a cutting tool, whether it be a trimmer, a craft knife with your craft mat, or scissors, whatever you guys prefer to use, okay? I've pre-cut all of mine for the cover, all right? As I work on the inside, I'll probably just have my trimmer and we'll just do it on the fly, okay? So you're gonna need 6 eyelets for the cover. Set those aside and hope I don't lose them. You're going to need some elastic. I have this really cool silver elastic. Again, you can use any color you want, and this elastic measures 30 inches. Okay? If you buy the kit, you are going to get the elastic that is cut to the exact size that has the ends on it. So you just basically poke them through there. Alright, so that's if you buy the kit. It's already done. If not, you're going to have to tie it. But because not everybody's going to go buy the kit, I'm going to show you what to do with this. Okay? Then what you're going to need is 3 pieces of chipboard. Okay? So 2 of the pieces of chipboard. Now you don't need 3 12 by 12 pieces. So pen and paper. Okay? 30 inches for the elastic. Look at that, I just flung those everywhere. I know I'm going to lose them. Okay, you're going to need 2 pieces cut at 5 3/4 by 9 1/4 of chipboard. You're going to need 1 piece cut at 1/2 of an inch by 9 1/4 inches. You're going to cover these with score tape. Unless, of course, you're using a wet adhesive, you will do that at the moment. So I've just pre-covered these in the score tape to save some time. Then what you're going to need is, move it out of the way for a second. You are going to need 2 pieces of cardstock, and this is what we're going to use to cover our book, our chipboard, okay? We're going to make the cover. So you're going to need 1 piece at 11 1/4 by 12. Okay, so 12 by 11 1/4, and what you're going to do is you're going to set the 12-inch side into your scoreboard, and you're going to score it at 11, and then you're going to turn it around, and you're going to score it at 1 inch and 10 1/4 inches, and that is on the 11 1/4 inch side. Okay, and you're also going to need a piece that is 11 1/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. Okay, and you're going to score that on the 3 3/4 inch side. You're going to score it at 1 inch, and then you're going to turn it around to the 11 1/4 side, and you're going to score it at 1 inch and 10 1/4. Okay, set this over here for now. Get out of my way. Now, I need to get something here so you guys can see this a little better. Hold on. There we go. Now you can see it. That's a little better. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where you want to put either your adhesive or your score tape. Okay, you want to make sure that your bumpy side, so this is a valley in here. This is the side that we had facing up when we scored. You want to flip it over. Ta-da! And I've already put my score tape on. Okay. What I want you to do first is I want you to go to your 12-inch side. So you'll have these 3 sides are scored. Okay. And go to your 12-inch side and place a piece of 1/4 inch score tape or adhesive and just put a light pencil line. Okay. It's going to be covered so you don't have to worry about it. Okay. And again, you want your bumpy side to be up. All right, and the first thing I want you to do is place the 1/4 inch score tape down, and then you can use whatever size you want. I like to use 1 inch all the way around because I have shorted myself on cardstock so many times it's crazy. So I like to cover it and have 1/4 inch all the way around. Okay, so you're going to take your short piece and you're going to line it up exactly with that score tape. Okay, and you're going to set it down and burnish it really well. That's the other thing you're going to need. So I'm going to do that first. Oopsie. That's the first thing I'm going to do. And again, make sure your bumpy sides are up. Line this up. Nice and straight. Like that. Okay, and then I'm going to burnish it down. Now, I have to tell you guys this. So normally I would put this on the spine, but because I'm punching holes and I'm setting eyelets in there, I am putting this over so that it doesn't interfere, or I have a little extra grab for these eyelets, okay, that I'm setting in here. So if you put this in the middle, you're going to be able to do it, but it's not going to grab as well as it does here. Okay, it's going to kind of sit inside the hole. So I'd be worried if you do that it's going to have little sharp things sticking out from the eyelets and it's going to fray your elastic. Okay, and you want this to lasting memories, right? So I've done this. Now I already put down my score tape. So what I did is, what you can do now is you can go around the outside edge. You don't need to do the corners because we're chopping that off. Go all the way around the outside edge and then go out right along the score line. Now I have stayed just to the outside of the score line. Okay, so I can see the bump there. All right, so I've gone to this side of the bump on all 4 sides. Okay, so that's what I did there. Then what I'm going to do, and this is going to be so easy because I've already done it, everything in advance. I'm going to get my 1/4 inch score tape out again. I am going to take one of my 5 3/4 by 9 1/4 pieces, and I am going to stick it down, lining it up, and I'm just gonna, you could do it this way if you're unsure of yourself, okay, and then you're not gonna have a whole bunch of grab there. So that's just a tip. I'm taking mine off because I'm feeling pretty confident. I don't know why, it's pretty late at night. So, and I'm just gonna line it up with my score lines and my score tape, and I'm going to drop it down. Like that. So there's one piece. I'm just going to burnish it from this side for now. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it around so you guys can see that. It's lined up perfect. And then I'm going to put a piece of 1/4 inch score tape along the edge. Like this. Okay. Then I have a guide. Now, if you don't want to put score tape in there, that's fine. I always do. I just find it gives a cardstock a little extra oomph, because that's where it's going to bend. Okay. And then I'm going to take this piece here. Take my score tape off. Can you imagine if I didn't do this ahead of time? Woo! We'd be here forever. Uh-oh. Well, there. Okay, and I am going to turn it back this way so I can see it. And then I'm going to line this up with the top and bottom score lines. Okay, if you're not feeling confident with that, get a ruler and you can hold it down and butt it up against this piece of chipboard that you've already put down. Okay, like that. And then you can just use that as a guide as well, so it's exactly straight with the front cover. Okay, so easy peasy lemon squeezy right there. Alright, and then I'm going to put one more piece of the 1/4 inch score tape, and again, you don't have to. You can mark with a ruler and draw a line if you want, whatever method you want to use. Okay. Like that. I'm going to burnish that in. I'm actually going to burnish this too before I forget. And then I have my last piece here. I've already burnished all of my score tape down. I recommend you guys do that. Okay, and again, you can use your ruler as a guide so they're all lined up. Okay, just makes life easier that way, and you can line it up like that. And then you know, oopsie, you know that it's even. Okay, that. Okay. Clearly somebody doesn't know how to put score tape on straight, just saying. So you know it's all even. Move this out of the way. And then you're going to flip it over and burnish it really well. Okay. I always worry about the spine and the edges more than anything. Now, first thing I'm going to do, because I always forget, is I'm going to take these out of here. I forget to do it all the time, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get that out of there? And then it's a struggle. And I'm just using a pair of tweezers I have here. Don't ask me what kind of tweezers these are. I think they are made in Pakistan. So if you can find those tweezers made in Pakistan, carry on with your bad self. I'm pretty sure I've had these for 20 years, and I think they came with a serger that I own, which is a type of sewing machine. Okay, I'm taking that out of there. You don't have to if you have a really good memory, but I do not. Okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-bend, okay, along all of my, just gently. I'm not pushing it all the way up. I'm just giving a little crease along the edges. Okay. I'm not bending it up completely right now is because I have this score tape in here, and that is actually going to affect how it folds, because it's like having an extra piece of paper in there. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. Now, I have a special tool, and it is called the Perfect Trim Ruler. But I can't find it. So, I'm going to show you guys how to do this, okay, without the Perfect Trim Ruler. You can either cut it straight in here, and you can fold it over. That's fine. I know a lot of you that are watching this probably already know how to do this. So, I am going to use this. And you can use any ruler that you want. But I like to go, now the Perfect Trim Ruler that I cannot find, that is gone possibly for a month. It'll be back probably when I don't need it. Let's see if it's in here. Last place to look. Nope, it's gone. It got up and walked away on me. It is gone away. Okay, so if you measure, okay, or stick a piece of chipboard. Let me get a piece of chipboard. I'll show you guys. Okay. So here's a piece of chipboard. So the whole principle of doing this is so that your corner is not exposed. So we have to take at least the width of the chipboard, okay? And we have to cut that. So what you can do is you can just take your piece of chipboard, okay, and you can use a pen. You want to use something that's working, that you can see. So you want to mark on top of this, okay? You can take a pen. So I have here a fine liner, and it is a 0.3 drafting marker, and I just take this, make sure it's perfectly straight, and you can just draw a line across. So if I have a cutting mat that matches, so I know this is the perfect angle I want to be on. So I can do that, then I can line it up, and you can see how the lines here are lining up. So I have an even distance, and then you can just draw a line. Okay, make sure you can see. Now this is a marker, so it's not going to stick to the score tape line. So you can see the gap that I have in here, okay, is the perfect gap that I'm going to need to cover that chipboard. Alright, so again, I'm going to do it on this side. I'm going to line it up with my score mat. You don't need this to do this. It just makes it a little neater, so you know you're even with this side. You take this and you line it up with these lines, okay? And again, you just draw. So I'm pushing this up against the corner like that. I'm not pushing hard, I'm just setting it in there, and I'm going to make sure it's even with this line, and I just draw a line. And again, this is like a marker, and it's not staying very well on the score tape. Okay. But we're going to be taking that score tape off, so it's all okay. So again, I'm lining it up with this awesome line I have on my score mat. And I'm just holding this here, and I'm lining it up best I can. Well, this one lines up perfectly, which is nice, and I'm just drawing a line. Okay. You can see it faintly. I'm not going to rub on it because, like I said, it'll rub off. So I'm just lining that up again. Take your piece of chipboard, hold it up to here. So I'm making sure that this is lining up with the corner like that, like that. Lining it up up with this line here, and I'm just eyeballing. It's not a big deal. All right, so I'm eyeballing this. I'm going to draw a line. Okay. And now I have all my 4 corners marked. Wow. That I'm going to cut it off. And I am going to use my scissors. No, I'm going to use my ruler and my this, but now I can't find my ruler. There it is. Okay. Now I have a steel edge ruler that is always good to use, and it has cork on the back, so it's not going to slide, hopefully. Okay, so I'm just going to line the ruler up with this edge, and you can also do it from the other edge, like this. Okay, I have a visitor. And then I'm just going to chop that off. Like that. Okay. See? And it's all going to be the same all the way around. I'm going to keep going here. You hear the nails in the background. That's Tyson has decided to come visit me. Tyson is my giant horse dog. I miss the horses, so I had to get a dog that is the size of a horse. So there we go. One more. There we go. All 4 corners are done. Okay, so I've already bent it up a little tiny bit. Okay, so it's going to be sitting just nice. So I'm going to start with my sides first, my long sides, which would be the bottom and the top, and I'm going to peel off all of the score tape. That. Okay, I'm going to take this, and I'm just running this along here. This is a really cool tool. It has an angle on it, and it just kind of helps me to fold this up. And I'm going gently. We've already scored it on the scoreboard, so there's no need to manhandle it like sometimes I do with things. Okay, and I'm just going to roll it over, and I still don't have it down yet, and I'm just breaking the paper in. I'm getting it used to the thought of going in the direction I want it to go in. And the easier you go and the slower you go and the more you burnish it and take your time, the less chance you are going to have of it cracking. Okay, because all cardstock can crack, and we know that some are better than others at not cracking, but if you take your time and you give the paper a chance to do what it's supposed to be doing, at least what you want it to do, okay, it's probably not going to crack. Just saying. So now, this little piece here got tucked underneath, and I'm just going to pull that out of there now so I don't wrestle with that, because it's going to happen. I'm just going to pull that out. If that happens to you, do not worry about it, because you can just bend that back a little and pull it out. Okay. And again, I'm just going to use my awesome little tool like that. Okay. And then push it down. Burnish it really good. Okay. And I just run it along the edge here just so I have a nice crisp edge. Not hard, I don't want to crack the paper. Okay, and then I'm going to do my ends. Take that off. Now, you will see that you have this little bit hanging over, okay? So you can use your fingers and just kind of push it in, or you can take your tool and just give it a little tiny little push that way, and that covers your corner. Okay, so it's going to be covered. And because you have score tape on it, it's going to stick good. So do that first, and then, so let me show you. So see how I just turned that around ever so slightly. Okay. So I turn that in, I turn this in like that, and then I gently like that, and that. Okay. There we go. Okay, so there's one side done. And we're going to do the same with the other side. We're going to turn that corner in. Punch that down and turn this corner in just a little tiny bit. I'm talking like a 16th, not even a 32nd of an inch. Just kind of pushing that in there. I'm going to take this again. And because you've put the score tape on this side, it's going to stick to the actual 16th of an inch edge of the black chipboard. I don't know why I use black. Sorry, people. It's probably hard to see. That's just what I had handy. Okay. And like that. Sure. And, oopsie. Like that. There we go. Finish it really well. Okay. Now, we've gotten to this point, and I am not going to bend this yet. Usually I cover the inside and then I bend it and we work it and nice and gently, make sure paper isn't going to crack, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to mark where my 3 holes go. So you're going to want to get a pen and a paper out again so I can show you this. Actually, I'm going to show you with my tiny little ruler and you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my pencil that I put away. Why did I do that? Okay, and I am going to mark at, so this ruler is a little strange, but it's yellow so you guys can see it. So your spine is 1.5 inches. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down. Okay, from this edge, I want it to be 5/8 of an inch. Let me just check and make sure. For my holes, yes, 5/8 of an inch. So I'm going to find on my ruler my 5/8 of an inch, okay, which is right here. Okay, so that's 5/8, and I'm going to line it up with the top, okay, and then I'm going to, so there's 5/8. I'm going to also line it up with this edge where I can still see it, okay, so let me hold it there so you can see 5/8 there. So I'm lining it up like that. I know it's a little blurry, but I do not want to turn the autofocus on right now. All right. So I have to do it this way because this is a messed up ruler. Let's do it on this side. 5/8 of an inch from the top. Line it up on this side here. And what I want you to do is take your pencil and I want you to put a mark at 1/4 of an inch in, which is here, okay, and then 3/4 of an inch, which is right here, 1/4 inch, 3/4, and then inch and 1/4. And I'm saying that because my inch is here now, so this is the edge that's lined up with this spine. Okay, so it's lined up with the edge of the spine. Alright, so where's my inch and 1/4? There we go. So I'm putting a fairly good sized line. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly draw just a little line this way, and you'll see it's kind of like an X marks the spot. Okay, so you can see that. Okay, so I have my tick mark, and this is where I'm going to center my hole. So it's kind of like an X marks the spot. I can extend that just a bit, and again, I've made them really dark, and don't make them too big. You don't have to erase as much, maybe. And I want you to turn around and do the exact same thing on the other side. So again, I'm going to line it up with the edge here, 5/8 of an inch here. Okay, and then I'm going to mark it at 1/4 inch, 1/4, 3/4, and an inch and 1/4. Now, keeping in mind, this will work, this little album will work with so many other papers and projects, and you don't have to use this paper, right? So I've made my other marks, and now what I'm going to do is, now what you're saying to yourself is, Monica, should we cover this now? No, and I'm going to tell you why. I covered it beforehand on this album. Okay, and realize that, remember that I was telling you about the grab. If you put the other piece of paper on there, your eyelet doesn't have enough. It's to the paper and the chipboard and another layer of paper, because you got front and back now, and then you add another layer, it doesn't grab it well. And I'm worried that if you guys do that, it's going to break your elastic, okay, by just moving it back and forth. Just friction on the sharp edges, because it didn't open properly, like the eyelet. So that's why I'm giving you these measurements, and we're going to do it this way, okay? And then we can put the paper on it later. So I'm going to use my 1/16 of an inch, or sorry, 3/16 of an inch, and I'm going to find my circle. I'm going to find the pencil mark. I'm going to stand up so you guys can see it too. Okay, so I'm going to find my pencil mark in that hole, and I'm going to just center it in the hole, and I am going to punch it in the center. And then I'm going to do, doesn't want to come out. Get your pokey tool just in case. I'm going to use this pencil. Throwing fits on me. What's going on, man? Okay. Did it fall out? Good enough. I can see it. Okay. And then I'm going to punch these 3 holes. Well, it's still in there. What? Okay, I'm using a pair of tweezers. Out. Be gone. Okay. I have a feeling I'm going to need those again. Because of the tape, it's sticking in the hole. Okay, and there's one. Number 3. You guys are hearing things in the background. That's my son in the other room. As long as he's not screaming, I'm okay. Okay. So we do this for all 3 holes. Oh, that one came out. Lucky me. Okay, so we're done punching our holes. All right. Now, I am going to get rid of my garbage right now. So, I'm not going to throw any tools out. It's happened. I have done that in the past, believe me. Bonefolder.com is where I get my bone folders, and I am a repeat customer. Okay, so now you have your 3 holes in the bottom, 3 holes in the top. I know right now you don't know which one the bottom or the top is, but you will know in a minute. So I'm going to go from the outside, okay, and I'm going to set all of my eyelets from the outside. And the reason I told you guys not to fold this is because it's just easier to hang on to. So if you guys have this to hang on to, it's just way easier. I had the wrong, yeah, that'll work a little better. Obviously, I was using a different size. There we go. That'll work. Okay, so you see how it just barely grabs on there? If you were to put another layer of paper, it would not grab on so well. It's grabbing on nicely. And I'm just going to go around and settle these in. So this one I screwed up because I had the wrong size. I'm probably going to pull that out and put another one in. So see how it spread it out nicely and it's not super sharp. All right, if it is super sharp for whatever the reason may be, you have a different style or a different type of eyelet and it doesn't spread open like that, you can put glossy accents around there, and I would highly recommend that. Just dab it on there and let it dry and just walk away for a little while. Okay, so this one here, I had the wrong setting on my crocodile, so I should be able to just pop this thing right out because I had the wrong setting. So I'm just gonna see if I can get this out while I'm on camera without trashing the place. Okay. I think it's gonna work. By golly. So I'm just bending back these so I can get this out of here. And then let's do that. Pop! There it was, gone. Yay! I got it out without killing the book. Okay. Now, again, if you want to put your pattern paper down, so here's the other thing. If you want to put your pattern paper down, okay, I recommend, now I matted this as well for the spine, so if you want to put it down, do it obviously before this. Now, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something a little different with this book, so I'm just showing you the basics. And the spine piece, now, because, again, I matted this with paper. If your eyelets are pretty long and you know you can do it, go right ahead. The matting for this on the spine, okay, I did exactly 1/2 of an inch here of the cardstock, and I always do 1/8 of an inch less. So maybe this is a little more. So it's 1 3/8 inches. Yeah. That's a little over. It's 1 3/8 inches by, let's see, 1 3/8 inches. Now that's the pattern paper I'm talking about. Pattern paper is 1 3/8 inches by 8 5/8. Okay, and that's the pattern paper. Like I said, it made it really thick, and I struggled with those eyelets, and they're not grabbing on really well, so I'm gonna do it this way. okay, so that I get a really good grab on there. Okay, and because I didn't put so much paper, it's flattening out really nice, and I don't have to mess with it, and I'm not going to worry about it damaging my elastic. All right, so I have to go find another eyelet. So let's finish this. Sure it's not gray. I have gray in there as well. Nope, that's white. Okay. One more. Okay. So there we have it. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take a piece, okay, which is on the spine here, and this piece I am going to measure it so that it just barely covers that sharp edge of your eyelets. Okay, so you're kind of killing two birds with one stone here. You're covering that up, but you're not covering the holes. Okay, so this piece here is 7 1/4, I believe, by 4. Let's make sure. Wrong end. So yes, it is by 4, and it is 7 3/4 by 4 is this size of paper. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I am just going to cover this with score tape, and I have this giant roll for just such an occasion. This makes life faster. Side 2. Go. Okay, burnish it really well. Okay, so tip of the day, if you have score tape and you've gone over the other one, all right, whatever piece is underneath, I mean, this lined up pretty good, whatever piece is underneath there, peel that off first. Okay, after you burnished it, peel it off first, and then burnish this piece down a little bit more, okay, for future reference. And then you'll be taking that lump out and you won't have to worry about it later. So I'm only going to do half. What I want to do is I obviously want to line it up. I'm going to eyeball this, and I'm going to put it in the middle. Like, I'm just kind of exaggerating. I'm trying not to set it down so you guys can see. So I'm just going to center it on the spine. Okay? So I'm going to take both of these pieces off. Now, if you want to be really precise, you can take a pencil and you can mark where the center is of this, and you can mark where the center is of this. Obviously, you know where the center is because there's a eyelet there. Okay? So that's your gauge for that. So you can put a pencil line at 2 inches here, put a pencil line at 2 inches here, line them up with the center of your eyelets, because that's where the center is. But I'm gonna eyeball it because I'm feeling dangerous today. Okay. Like that. Okay, and then I'm going to burnish it down really good. And by doing that, I've also protected, if there is a little bit of sharp on there, I've covered it with paper, and it's not going to destroy my elastic. Okay? Because on the inside of here and here is where your elastic is going to hit. Okay? So it's not going to rub up here, so you don't have to worry about that part. Alright? Then what I'm going to finish it with, on the inside of this album, okay, I just matted it with this paper, but I think what I'm going to do for the next one is I'm going to do something a little different. So this is just matted. The mat, I'll give you the size of the matting here. The mat on the inside is 5 3/8 by 9. So 5 3/8 by 9. And I believe that I made this the same. Yes, I did. 9. No, 5 3/4 I made this. I don't know why I did that, but I did. So 9 by 5 3/4. And on the other album that I did with the pattern paper, I made it 9 3/8. So I guess we'll be able to show you the difference, right? This is on the inside, so I'm going to use my wet glue. Okay, and I'm not going to put a makes time a little faster here, and I'm just going to line it up 1/8 of an inch on either side, because that is what I left. Okay. That, and before it dries, oopsie, I'm going to dry baby wipe here, so I can wipe off the excess glue as I go around the edge. Okay, and burnish it. That. Okay. And do the same thing on the other side. And again, you can use the pattern paper, because in the kit, if you bought the kit, there's a lot of awesome papers with the Solids Plus. They are so adorable. This whole collection is just so cute. Okay. Now, just put a little extra with this. Okay. So now that I have everything in here, I am going to take this, I'm going to stick my burnishing tool in here, okay, and I'm going to just give it a little burnish, and I'm going to fold this page in like that. I'm going to do the other side as well. I'm going to bend it as I'm going. Like that. It slowly, like that. Okay. I'm just going to give it a little bit of workout slowly, because I want to train the paper to bend to my will. Now, if you are in a dry neighborhood, such as the desert, or anywhere up north in Canada, in the prairie provinces, I know it's like really cold and dry. It's horrendous there right now. So you can get water. I suggest like a distilled water with a mister. And I don't mean a spray bottle, I mean a mister. And you can mist your cardstock and just give it a little bit of wet, like dampen it. Or you can get like a baby wipe and just make it ever so slightly wet. Okay, and that'll help you to bend your cardstock. Okay, so this is really good cardstock. Okay, so it's not going to crack, plus it's pretty damp here. So once I've done this, okay, I have my book, it's all folded in, and as you can see in here, it's kind of done this little warpy thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it down this way, and I'm going to just push down on my desk. And that'll help to make it go a little straighter. Okay, if that doesn't work, just take your burnishing tool, okay, and just give it a nice edge. Okay, you don't have to make it a crazy edge. And again, you're just helping the paper break down. Thinking, I really don't need to watch her doing this, but this is the difference between it cracking and not cracking, right? So there it is. Okay. So I see this way, like that. This way. There we go, and that is so nice and neat looking and tidy. And it just looks like it was meant to be. Now, I go around all of my edges, okay, like that. And it just makes them sharp and crisp. And if the corners, if it's bunching up here, piling up, I just give it a little push with my burnishing tool. Okay, and I do all of the edges. And you just do them all at once if you want. And if you do this, it just makes it look nice and crisp, okay? Then you're also going to find out if this is, if you're selling this album, making it for a craft fair, you'll know if your paper's splitting and then you can fix it, okay? So there we have it. Nice, neat, tidy edges, okay? And then the final step is I go around on the inside. And because I have this one that has that angle on it, I can just kind of lay it down like that. Just go one more time around here. Like that. Okay, look how nice and neat that looks. Gosh, that looks so neat. I'm not even going to cover this one with paper yet. Okay, so this is your back, and this is your front. Okay, so the back is where I had split the paper up. All right, and the white is from these eyelets. The paint is coming off of them. I don't know why. Isn't that nice and neat and tidy? Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to take your elastic. Okay, and the first thing I did is I start from the inside. Okay, I go through the center. And, okay, so this is your back. So it doesn't matter if you go front or back. Start in the middle, come up through the inside, go through this way, okay? Flip it back around to show you guys, and then I run it all the way up to the top, okay? And then I take it, and I run it back in through here, so I have a matching one here. Back through here. Okay. I run it all the way. Oops. Hold on. A little bit more here. Not going to work. I run it all the way down through here. Okay. Back through. Okay. And then I have this last piece. Goes in through here. Okay. And then I run it up. Oops. Oh, don't lose your bottom piece. Run it up. Okay, so it's coming through the back. And then give it a pull. I want to make it a little stretchy, and I run it through here. Okay, so both of these pieces end up in the middle. All right, now you'll need to do a little bit of adjusting, depends on your elastic. Again, do a trial run if you have a whole bunch of elastic, and then you will know. So just kind of give these a little pull here and there. All right, and then you're going to tie it in the middle. Now I'm going to do a little slip knot here because I'm going to show you guys again. Okay, so there you go. There is my slip knot. Okay, and it looks nice and neat on this side. Okay. Like that. And you actually have 2 of these, so if you wanted to add another page, you can. I did not in mine. I have the stoppers that actually stop it. So in the kit, you'll have... Okay, I'm going to try this again. So, start in the middle, poke it through the inside, get this little piece in the middle. Okay, take this piece, run it through the corner, like that, flip it back to the inside, and run it down there. Okay, then you're going to come back through the middle, oops, sorry for hitting the mic, and you're going to run it through there. Okay, through the middle, like this. Okay, and you're still holding on to this piece. You're going to come off to this side here. So now we have that. The bottom is done. One of the ends is done, and then we're going to come back through the top. Okay. Now, this is where you'll want to adjust a little bit. So I don't have my elastic tight enough, so you can start pulling on these and adjusting accordingly. Okay. So that you have enough to come back through. All right. Like that. Finishing off by coming through the middle one more time. And again, this is if you didn't buy the kit and you're just using your stuff at home. So it's there. Okay. And then you're going to tie it off in the middle. You can tie it at the top if you want to, but you'll be messing with these elastics for quite a while to get it back even. Alright. It's not an impossible feat. So that's the back. I'm going to go the other way. So I'm going to try this. Okay, let me see if I can get mine to go to the top like that. Comfortably. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just messing with these elastics. So there you go. I have enough to tie at the top. Yay! Okay. Like that, and I'm actually going to tie it this time. And I can put a little charm or something on there. Okay. Tight, snug. So there it is. Okay. So this one's fairly loose, this one's fairly loose, this one's fairly loose. Again, if you just move them around, you'll be able to adjust accordingly. Right? Like that. There you go. So again, if I wanted to put a charm on this, I could literally just poke this back through there, like that, and I can have a charm on the outside. This is the back, that's the top. Voila. Okay, so that's part 1 on how to do the cover of your album. Okay, so I'm going to show you now. I'm just going to use these pages so that you can see that they fit in there. Snug a bug in a rug. Okay. Like this. Okay. And the more you use it, now, if you have your elastic way too tight, it might be an issue down the road. All right, because it's gonna dig into your paper. Okay, because I put the eyelets exactly, so see how it's digging into that paper? Right there and right there. So what you might want to do, now this one here, it's not, it's pretty loose because I have access to a ton of elastic, so I didn't have to make it that tight. Okay, so if this is the case, all right, what you'll want to do is get a little piece of paper. So you'll pull it back out, of course. I'm just going to push mine out this way. Okay, and you can get a little piece of paper and just fold it over top. So see how I cut that? All right. And this is only, like I said, if you did not order the kit, this is what's going to happen. You can use a little decorative piece of paper. Okay, you can use whatever you want. So I'm just going to show you. I'm going to use a little tiny little piece of paper like this. Okay, and this one matches. I'm going to do 2. And I'm just cutting a little sliver on here. Alright. Like that. And what I'm going to do is I am going to put it right across here at the bottom. And that just gives this piece of paper a little more stability, because this is just made out of cardstock, right? Okay, so I'm just going to glue that right across the bottom and you will see what I mean. Actually, I like the red stripies. I'm going to use the red stripy side. Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to line it up with the very bottom. Use my wet wipe. Get that extra glue off. Okay. Like that. And this is for future reference. All right, so if you've done this and this is something that's happening, you can just take it, and then I just use my nail. You can get a burnishing tool and just give it a little extra help when you're bending it in. Okay, now obviously I haven't let the glue dry, but when you close it, give it a little squeeze. Okay, and you can do this on both sides. And that's just a little extra piece of paper if it's tearing. Okay? And like I said, if you have the kit, it's not going to tear. But all elastic is different, right? So some of you might get the thing that looks exactly like the one I have, but it's a little snugger and it doesn't stretch out as much. You might need more elastic, right? So I am not responsible for what happens, because if you got your own, because I don't know the nature of the elastic. Okay, so you can just do that and let it dry. I'm not letting it dry, so just saying. I'm gonna give it a little extra fold, burnish it as well, like that. So that's if it rips. Okay, so this is for future. So now that extra piece of paper is going to prevent that from tearing any further. Okay, there you have it. See? And it just gives it a little more stability. Okay guys, well, this is the end of part 1. Okay, making the cover of the mini album. Be sure and keep watching and hit subscribe if you want to see part 2. I have to take this back out of here, so I didn't let the glue dry. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Okay, I have to glue that back down again. That just looks silly now. Okay. Yes, I should have let the glue dry. I know these things. Now I'm going to let the glue dry, okay? Okay, I'm going to let it sit like that. I'm going to let it fold. There we go. Okay. So there's your cover. and your eyelets and your elastic, and you are all ready to cover this up. Okay, guys, I'll see you in part 2. Thanks for watching. Be sure and subscribe. If you want the kit to make the album and the autograph book, you can go to my shop. I'll put the link below. Also, if you want the kit with the telephone booth, the link for that will be below as well. Thanks for watching, guys.